Hey all, hope everyone is doing great. This is the first video in a long time that I'm actually talking in, so first I just want to thank everyone for all the crazy support the last week and a half or so. Since posting my first Scarlet Witch video that popped off the day the alpha test went live, I've gone up almost 400 subscribers and absolutely crushed the watch hour goals for monetization. Now all I need to do is hit 1K subs to reach full monetization. I cannot possibly put into words how grateful I am for the subs, comments, and views. Thank you all so much. The last week has been crazy and hectic from just trying to play as much of the alpha as I could, make as much content as I could, answering everyone's questions and comments. My birthday mixed in. It was pretty wild for me. But ever since I started posting YouTube content on here and my other channel, Fantasy Distractions, this is what I always wanted to be doing. So thanks to you all, I got a taste of that this week and I loved every second of it. So once again, thank you all so much. Now, as far as the alpha test goes, between making a lot of content for it, I also played a ton. I played over 200 matches, and though I mostly played Scarlet Witch, I still spread out my playtime across as many characters as I could to show off gameplay of every character and get a feel for each one, so it's easier to make videos like this one. I've posted videos for almost every character now, and I definitely have games recorded for the ones that I haven't shared yet, but I'll upload those soon. I just thought it would be interesting to do a little series talking about each character individually and showing gameplay of them so that people can get a feel for the characters before the next beta or full release, and to open a discussion for us to talk about what we would like to see changed with the characters or fixed. Maybe this video in the comments section reach the devs somehow, and we can help shape the future of what I believe is going to be a really popular game that hopefully people will enjoy. Before we get started, I just want to also mention that a lot of what I state in this video will be my own opinion from my own experiences playing the character, and I am by far not a pro at these type of games, so there may be instances where I'm just doing something completely wrong and maybe that's shaping my opinion in a negative way. In which case, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I would love to improve at the game, and if I'm missing something that may be helpful to me understanding and getting better, please let me know. Just be constructive about it and friendly to each other as well. So I've structured these character breakdowns in a way that will follow a similar formula throughout. It's basically just going to be like an introduction, like I just did, basic concept and design of the character, how they actually perform, changes I would like to see, lore, skin ideas, and then probably just like a closing outro of some kind. But that'll be the gist of these videos in the future. So let's talk about the basic concept of the character and the design for Black Panther. First of all, the design of the character is great. It's very MCU inspired in parts and comic inspired in others. But overall, I like the design they went for. Looks good, and the Wakanda Forever emote is a really nice touch. For the playstyle design of the character, Black Panther is meant to be a backline assassin type character, intended to utilize his sprint rend ability, which is his shift key ability, to get in and out of combat. Hitting an enemy with sprint rend while they have a vibranium mark will reset the cooldown of sprint rend, allowing you to use it again. Mix this with his right click, which is called spear toss, and you enter this consistent flow of tagging an enemy with a mark, using spear toss, punishing with sprint rend, rinsing, and repeating. You can also use his E skill, spinning kick, and his ultimate Bast's Descent to apply more vibranium marks, and this is the gist of the combat flow of the character. Ideally, you would want to get in on the backline, eliminate a squishy or two, reset sprint run in order to give you an out when you're done before everyone focuses on you and eliminates you. Now let's talk about how the character actually performs. Now, all of that being said, this was the character that I felt needed the most polishing. Honestly, the most glaring thing wrong here is the inconsistency in the shift resetting. There were many moments where I swear I set up and lined up sprint ren to perfection, and I wouldn't get the ability reset, and when that happens, you're essentially a sitting duck and at the mercy of the enemy team, which is going to lead to you getting eliminated 9 times out of 10. In my first few games when I was learning the kit, I realized the error of my ways and I understood where I was failing. But once I understood the concept and was putting in the extra effort to line up plays and situations with vibranium marks, still somehow not getting the reset and ending up stuck behind enemy lines, it started to become more frustrating because it no longer felt like a performance issue on my end. That being said, there were also a lot of moments where I go to set up a play but just straight up miss my shift somehow. Either the person I'm aiming for uses a movement ability or just gets out of the way in time, and it's hard to be upset about something like that. But I imagine that's the way you're intended to outplay the combat of a Black Panther, so I'm fine with that. I just think the amount of time and setup it takes to execute the combos should feel a bit more rewarding and should have a bit of leeway. Especially when characters like Spider-Man and Magic can do very similar tactics to Black Panther and able to get results much easier as well as get out much easier. Some changes I'd like to see. So with the concept of what the playstyle is supposed to be and what frustrated me most about playing Black Panther, I want to offer some suggestions to change some things in his kit to make him a bit more fun to play or at least more on par with Spider-Man and Magic. The main thing, and really the only thing I would consider adding to his kit, is the ability to reset his shift ability on a melee KO. It's rather difficult to finish someone off with your melee if you botched the combos to get in and on top of the backline, but I don't think it would be the most broken thing ever if you were able to reset the shift to give you an out after you get a KO with a melee attack. Either have a melee KO get you the entire sprint run back, or have it at least lower the cooldown. If we continue to use the Spider-Man and Magic comparison, Spider-Man can use a swing to get in and out pretty much consistently and fluidly because it has up to 3 uses, and the cooldown is relatively fast. Magic can use her shift, which has 2 charges, as well as her E, which is a dash in, to get in and out as well. So that gives her 3 ways to get out with relatively low cooldowns as well. Black Panther just has the shift in his E, which propels him forward a bit. However, the E doesn't push him far enough to really get out of harm's way. And the shift is just one use if you don't hit someone with the vibranium mark on them, and has about a 14 to 15 second cooldown if it misses or hits someone without a mark. Just as an example, let's say you land your spear toss on the back line applying vibranium mark on, let's say, a Luna Snow healer. You dash in with Sprint Ren, reapply vibranium mark with spear toss, sprint and rend her again to reset it. Now the enemy team is aware of you, so you throw in an E to reapply the mark, but you hit the wrong target with your sprint rend, not getting the reset. However, that Luna Snow is low enough for you to finish her with your melee before the enemy team arrives. You manage to chase her down and get the elimination with your melee. With this proposed change, it would then reset Sprint Rend and allow you to either throw a Spear Toss to Sprint Rend and get 2 dashes to get out, or just use the Sprint Rend dash to get out or closer to your team and wait for the cooldown in a safer environment. I don't know if this change would be too broken in the right hands, but I think it would help him get a little closer to the versatility they have already given to Spider-Man and Magic, naturally in their kits, by the way. But let me know what you guys think as far as if you think having a melee KO reset or at least lower the cooldown of Sprint Run would be too broken. But honestly, like compared to the way they have Spider-Man and Magic set up, I just think it would make him a little more viable or a little closer to them in power, I suppose. But now we're going to move on a little bit to the lore part. I will obviously have some markers on the video, so if you're not interested in this at all, you could skip on ahead. But as somebody who writes fantasy short stories and fantasy novels, lore is interesting to me, and I've always liked Marvel stuff since I was a kid, so I was curious how they were going to handle the lore in this game, but luckily it seems like it's going to be pretty good. So that being said, what's the deal with T'Challa, Black Panther, in this current universe timeline? Well, there's a thing called the time stream entanglement that's bringing all the heroes and some villains together to stop 2 Doctor Dooms that are at war with each other. The first Doctor Doom they describe as the Doom from times past. So I assume this is present day Doctor Doom, and he's going up against Doctor Doom 2099. In the lore for Black Panther, they call Wakanda an intergalactic empire, so this is a much larger scope of Wakanda than we're used to, that is bringing people and planets all over the universe together and protecting them. Both Doctor Dooms are trying to recruit Black Panther to their side, insisting that Wakanda and Latveria are similar. However, T'Challa isn't having it. He knew it was a bad idea to trust either Doctor Doom, but he also felt that ultimately he might not have a choice. He also wasn't sure what effect choosing to oppose both Doctor Dooms would have on Wakanda and his people. In the lore story that were provided in the Alpha, T'Challa is currently standing in the room with the Orisha, or Orisha. I think it's Orisha. Not sure. Somebody correct me on the pronunciation. Which are statues that I believe are of the gods of Wakanda, which includes Bast, the god most associated with the Black Panther. He's standing there trying to hear them and get guidance from them. In enters Shuri, the Black Panther's sister. Shuri has run the data and is pretty convinced that the Doctor Doom that caused the time stream entanglement is the real threat here, so this would be Doctor Doom 2099. T'Challa and Shuri have been arguing over this decision for a few weeks. Each lore story I've read so far explains how the heroes or villains have been brought into 2099, but there isn't really a clear description as to how T'Challa, Shuri, and all of Wakanda are there. They go on to name drop a bunch of places while describing past attacks by the Doombots. They mention a planet Eta Ophiuchi 4, which I couldn't find a Marvel connection, but Eta Ophiuchi is a binary star in the constellation Ophiuchus. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that, so you're welcome for that, but again, feel free to correct me in the comments. They also mentioned the Savage Land, which is the home of characters like Khazar and Sauron, as well as Madripoor, which has always been a city on the sketchier side of the Marvel comics where Wolverine has been known to frequent and has recently been seen in Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus series and will most definitely be in Deadpool and Wolverine. There's a really cool line in his lore where he doesn't realize he's speaking out loud and he's like, how am I supposed to choose? And Shuri hits him with a line that goes, because that's what kings do. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting easily distracted. I just want to, I couldn't wait to do lore videos for this game and lore breakdowns, okay? Let me know in the comments if you want me to do those. I'm probably going to do them anyway, but I need reassurance that that's what people want. So, yeah. The lore for this game is surprisingly fleshed out for something that doesn't even have a PvE mode announced yet. Getting back on track, Shuri admits people asked her to talk to T'Challa. When T'Challa questions who, Shuri name drops Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, who's already in the game, and Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, who is currently not in the game. They both discuss how Tony and Reed Richards are trying to make a machine to reverse the time stream entanglement, and it more or less just sounds like Shuri asking permission to go help them work on the machine. T'Challa gives her the okay to do so. Each lore section for every character has 3 parts, so this pretty much wraps up the first part of Black Panthers. We weren't allowed to access to the other 2 parts in the alpha test, but I personally can't wait to read them. The final tidbit thrown in that I imagine is important was the Orisha and Bast specifically were trying to speak to T'Challa the whole time, and he could faintly hear them, but for some reason he said their voices sound different somehow. He doesn't say they were distorted or like corrupt or anything, but he says they sounded strange. The actual description says, had the annihilation of so many timelines transformed the very Orisha themselves? Or was another force at work, bending their voices before he could perceive them? I told you the lore for this game so far is pretty crazy, and I just thought that was a cool way to kind of wrap up what's going on behind the scenes of what they're showing us in the first parts of these stories. Now, before I go on to some ideas I had for skins, or just what I would like to see for skins, I also just want to quickly touch on Shuri. Shuri is mentioned obviously in Black Panther's story, and I don't want to see. I just don't want them to make Shuri like her version of Black Panther, just a skin swap for T'Challa. I feel she deserves to be her own standalone character, either without the Black Panther suit as a support or trap type of DPS, or if she's going to be a version of Shuri that has taken on the mantle of Black Panther, I'd like to see her maybe combine the abilities of like Penny Parker and Black Panther and make her an assassin that wants to get in and out like her brother, but maybe she escapes or secures eliminations through gadgets and tech. Just a thought in trying to manifest her not just being a reskin for current Black Panther. Now, for skin ideas, I'll be honest. I don't know a lot about the Black Panther in the comics, but I do know about his original design from when I was a kid, and I'd love to see that one executed somehow. I'm not sure how the cloak cape will work exactly with its hitboxes and things in this game, or just overall difficulty animating it in a way that it doesn't look extremely weird when he's, jumping, dashing, and running around. But man, I would really love the OG Black Panther design. If they could somehow bring that in, that would be really cool in my opinion. Obviously, they could go full MCU, but I already feel his base design and this is very MCU-esque or at least MCU adjacent. Despite how everything went down with the game, I think Marvel's Avengers had some skins that could be potentially good fits for this one. Educate me a bit more in the comments on some cool designs from the comics that should make their way into the game because I don't really know too many. So definitely let me know. I'd love to look them up and check them out. But yeah, in closing, I guess my thoughts about Black Panther are pretty generic. The character was a lot of fun to play when his kit felt like it was working properly, and very irritating and frustrating when it felt like I landed a clean sprint rend and my shift didn't reset, so I had no choice but to get bodied out of existence. Like, unless you're a bigger Black Panther fan than a Spider Man or Magic fan, I fear a lot of people are just going to gravitate to those other two options because they do essentially exactly what Black Panther is supposed to be doing, but better. That's just how I feel. That's what I think. Let me know what you all think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.